older Americans play in today's workforce. First, I'd like to introduce Rachel Greszler. Rachel is a senior research fellow in the Plymouth Institute for Free Enterprise and Advancing American Freedom, AAF, and a visiting fellow in workforce at the Economic Policy Innovation Center. Prior to joining AAF, she spent 12 years as a senior research fellow at the Heritage Foundation and previously served for 7 years as senior economist on the staff of the Joint Economic Committee of the U.S. Congress. She is recognized as an economic expert in workforce, Social Security, pensions, family policy, fiscal policy. I want to thank you for being here for the third time. Your expertise is clearly very much appreciated here. Please begin your testimony. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Chairman Scott and Ranking Member Gillibrand, for the opportunity to be here today. In my testimony, I would like to review the role of older Americans in the workforce and then explain a simple and pro-growth proposal to support instead of penalize older working Americans. Older workers are the fastest growing segment of the labor force, accounting for 3/4 of total employment growth since 2000. While part of this rise is due to the sheer number of the aging baby boomers, older Americans' labor force participation rates have increased 6 percentage points, even as younger people's participation rates have declined. Today's seniors are redefining what retirement looks like. Rather than a one-time permanent exit from the workforce, about half of Americans are choosing non-traditional retirement paths, including transitioning to more flexible part-time or independent work, as well as unretiring by coming back into the workforce after an initial exit. This shift reflects new opportunities and changing preferences. Americans are living longer, healthier lives, and many want to remain engaged and productive. And doing so provides physical, mental, and financial benefits. At the same time, flexible and independent work arrangements have made it easier for older Americans to continue working in the ways that work for them. Older workers' positive contributions cannot be understated, especially amidst cultural shifts that cry out for older generations to impart their wisdom, experience, and resilience to younger generations. Yet, certain government policies make it harder for seniors who want to continue working to do so. One policy in particular directly penalizes them. That is Social Security's retirement earnings test, which is a relic of the Great Depression when policymakers wanted to push older Americans out of the workforce to try to free up jobs for younger workers. Today, we want and need older workers. While the retirement earnings test is little known and often misunderstood, it functions like an initial 50% tax. So for individuals who first claim Social Security benefits before their normal retirement age, which is going to be 67 next year, and this is what most people do to claim benefits early, they lose $1 in benefits for every $2 that they earn over the limit of about $24,500 per year. This results in, for example, a marginal tax rate of 74% for somebody who's making $29,000 and a marginal tax rate of 84% for somebody who's making $70,000. Not surprisingly, studies show that this causes people to work less and earn less than they would otherwise choose. And while those lost benefits are gradually added back into recipients' monthly checks after they reach the full retirement age, most people don't know that, and they perceive the test as a pure tax and subsequently reduce their earnings or stop working altogether. Moreover, individuals with lower life expectancies typically don't recoup all or sometimes any of those lost benefits. The earnings test is also confusing for seniors, and it costs the Social Security Administration $70 million per year to administer. And this includes hundreds of thousands of improper payments issued through it. Now, if somebody wants to stop working at age 62, that should be their choice. But unlike their Great Depression-era counterparts, today's older workers shouldn't be ushered into an early exit by an outdated Social Security provision. Ending Social Security's retirement earnings test, as Senator Scott's Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act of 2026 would do, is a win-win. In addition to erasing confusion and administrative burdens, I estimate that it would add up to 1 million workers to the labor force and increase personal incomes by up to $66 billion per year. That extra work and earnings would generate up to $18 billion in annual tax revenues, including an additional $8 billion per year for Social Security, which would modestly extend the program's solvency. The last time that Congress addressed the retirement earnings test by eliminating it for everybody above the full retirement age, the bill passed with 100% bipartisan support. And now that the retirement age is almost 67, it's affecting millions more seniors. Americans of all ages should have the freedom to work, and Social Security recipients should not have their benefits taken away because they're positively contributing to the workforce. In summary, many older Americans are already leading the way with their continued contributions. Policymakers should clear the path for current and future seniors to remain engaged by removing outdated barriers and supporting flexible work. Ending the retirement earnings test is a practical and pro-growth place to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks for being
Given
back.
these realities, I want to hear from you. I mean, you're the experts. Again, the chairman's put together a great panel. What are the main impediments? Why, if someone wanted to work, they wanted to earn the extra income, and we know that costs of living are going up, and specifically related to healthcare and drug prices, and we're trying to do everything we can to address that, drug pricing transparency, all of the things that we're doing to address that. But, you know, as they are wanting to make more to cover these increased costs, what is the main impediment that they are facing if they want to go back into the workforce? And I'll start with you, Ms. Greszler.
Thank you. And I'd like to talk about two. And first is that retirement earnings test. And so somebody who's making a modest amount, $29,000 per year, facing a 74% marginal tax rate in terms of what they get from that additional dollar that they work and earn. When you see that only 26 cents on the dollar coming in a paycheck, that encourages people to just stop working. And so just eliminating that test is just a common sense one, and it would improve the economy. It would improve Social Security. So getting rid of the penalty first.
You think that's the number one thing to do?
I think that combined
We're triaging
yes.
our approach. Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing. And second, I would address the people who want to transition out of a formal 9-to-5 job into part-time, more flexible work, enabling them to first be able to have that opportunity. So things like clarity and what is an independent worker versus an employee. And there are two bills on that, the Modern Worker Empowerment Act and 21st Century Worker Act, that would just provide that clarity to make those opportunities available, and then addressing the benefit side of things. So if somebody is, say, 62 and they want to start transitioning out, but they don't want to lose access to their health insurance, and maybe they still want to have a retirement account, having those types of portable benefits be an option through independent work as opposed to the formal employer things you could do. And so something like Unlocking Benefits for Independent Workers Act. So just expanding the flexibility. And neither of these things are like new mandates on employers. They're just removing current barriers that the government's created.
Greszler.
Yeah, so from 2019, we know that the RET could affect about 5 million people, and about 500,000 individuals did have their benefits reduced or completely eliminated. So that's 500,000 individuals who many are going to be confused and are going to call the SSA, try to schedule a visit. So by eliminating the test, you could immediately eliminate all of those things. And so it's a very kind of quick simplification. The one thing that you would need to do is those who are already in that 62 to 66 age range who have had some benefits held back, you'd have to figure out how are we going to get those back to them? Is it going to be an immediate, like one-time refund, or are they going to be in the old system and still move forward and wait until their full retirement age? But that's a pretty easy fix to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody want to add anything?
I'd just like to bring up a point on the solvency of Social Security and the issue of raising the retirement age. The reality today is that Social Security does not have the ability to continue paying benefits when the trust fund runs insolvent sometime between 2032, the most recent projections, and that's an across-the-board 23 to 28% benefit cut. The reality of that is that even if you waited until 70 to start collecting your benefits, you would not get what the current program pays today.
And Mr. Chairman,